species of mosquito that I will be discussing is the Culex quincunfasciatus, and which is formerly known as the Culex fatigans or the southern house mosquito.
Hi, my name is Haley, and I will be discussing with you the Aedes albopictus mosquito, more commonly referred to as the Asian tiger mosquito. The topic that we'll be debating today is which of these mosquitoes is more dangerous to humans.
Okay, so starting out with my opening statement, the Culex quincunfasciatus is also known as the southern mosquito, and it can be known for being a nuisance biter to humans. They primarily feed on avian, mammalian, or human hosts. The larvae, as well as the adults, are mainly found in the tropical and warm temperate aquatic environments or man made containers, which include ponds, ditches, and drains that contain human or animal sewage. The Culex quincunfasciatus uh, were carried on historical ships and long voyages that were polluted with water and livestock found. And the adult mosquitoes can only fly for short distances, and the larvae could be stored in water casks, which were found on ships. And it is more likely that this mosquito was spread through worldwide commercial sailing ships, which were involved in the Atlantic slave trade, old China trade, and the American whale oil industry between the 17th and 19th centuries. In more recent times, the mosquitoes can be found in airline cabins, exposed cargo, and containers on modern ships. This mosquito can contribute to economic loss in small island nations in the Caribbean, the Pacific, and the Indian Ocean that mainly or heavily depend on tourism. It is the main vector of lymphatic filariasis and has caused great health, social, and economic harm throughout areas of Asia as well as in the Caribbean. And it also vectors SLV and West Nile virus in the southern United States and Mexico. And the last vector disease is avian malaria and APV, which impacts islands such as Hawaii and New Zealand. The southern mosquito can be physically described as being golden brown with solid colored legs and a white banded abdomen.
Okay, the Aedes albopictus Asian tiger mosquito is an extremely dangerous mosquito towards humans for many reasons. It started its journey in Southeast Asia and then spread to the United States, specifically Texas, in 1985. A year later, it moved around to Florida and now encompasses about 30 different states in the United States. The mosquito is most likely transported along highways and other major roadways in shipments of used tires imported from other countries. The Asian tiger mosquito has now expanded to other continents, including South America and Africa. The unique physical aspects of this mosquito include its bold black shiny scales and silver white scales, along with a very distinct white stripe down the center, beginning at the dorsal surface of the head and continuing along the thorax, giving it the name tiger mosquito. The characteristics that make this mosquito so dangerous are due to its ability to live in many different environments, its strong competitive aptitude, and lack of efficient human control of this mosquito. The Asian tiger mosquito is known to be a competent laboratory vector of more than 30 viruses. Among the most harmful viruses include the Zika virus, West Nile virus, chikungunya virus, and dengue fever. These viruses have recently spread to the New World and are known as the triple threat. Since the Aedes albopictus mosquito has expanded over 30 states, the risk of these viruses getting spread can mean very serious threats for humans in those areas. Climate change predicts that this mosquito will continue to be a successful invasive species and spread beyond current geographical regions as time progresses. The Asian tiger mosquito is unique because they typically feed during the daylight hours and are active year round in warm climates. They feed on a wide range of hosts, giving them many options of ways to spread disease. The females tend to lay their eggs inside items that can hold stagnant water, such as tires, flower pots, bird baths, and clogged drains. The Asian tiger mosquito is very dangerous due to the many vectors of the disease it can transport from human to human.
So, our first rebuttal is going to be, why do you think your species is more dangerous than mine? So, I'll start with that. based off the Aedes albopictus, when compared to my species, the Culex fasciitis. The Culex fasciitis is known to vector several diseases, and it can have a detrimental impact on human societies, which are heavily based and dependent on tourism found in tropical islands and also warm temperate locations such as in the southern United States. What's primarily dangerous about this species is that they can basically feed off of any host and contract their diseases while transmitting it to another host that they choose to feed on. And also, their hosts are a variety of them. So they're mammalian, avian, and humans, and their main vector diseases are very dangerous once introduced to that next host. The southern house mosquitoes are primarily active at nighttime and can be found in areas where it's sewage and standing water.
While the Culex fatigan is a vector for some diseases, the Asian tiger mosquito spreads extremely deadly diseases, including the Zika virus, which in 2017 estimated that over 120 million people in Brazil were at risk of the infection. Also, on Yap Island, about 70% of the population actually contracted the disease, and it was reported as the first outbreak. There have been over 4,000 cases of West Nile virus reported in just 1 year that have affected many humans and leaving hundreds dead. Dengue fever is also another very serious disease that the Asian tiger mosquito is a vector for. A few of the symptoms include severe abdominal pain, persistent vomiting, and difficulty breathing. Even though the mosquito is relatively new to the United States, so far it has already been identified as a host for 5 different viruses in the United States. The Asian tiger mosquito creates a serious health threat as a bridge vector, bridging the natural cycle to humans by feeding on a reservoir and people. Another scary fact is that even something as small as a bottle cap can hold enough water for the larvae to survive. Even when taking many precautions, it is often very difficult to protect yourself from these mosquitoes and the harm they can cause. Earlier, you mentioned that your mosquito is a vector for certain diseases. So, what exactly makes the diseases that your mosquito carries so dangerous if it can only fly short distances?
Okay, wow. That's a very great question. But the southern house mosquito can transport itself as long as countries continue trading with other countries. So they can be found in storage containers or cargo ships. And once they get to like the certain destination of where the cargo is found or needs to be dropped, it can find any water or sewage area to start reproduction. And the Culex quincasciitis can vector up to three major worldwide diseases within the species. Since it is found in the subtropical and tropical regions, the southern house mosquito has the ability to vector and transmit lymphatic filariasis, along with a number of arboviruses, including Lewis encephalitis and West Nile virus. And in some cases, the southern house mosquito has transmitted malaria between its hosts. And my species is more dangerous because it has the ability to pass the disease from any given host that it chooses. So whether it be from a bird to a mammal or a mammal to a human, the southern house mosquito has that ability. And since the United States it's so technologically advanced, why do you think your species is more dangerous than the southern house mosquito when there's a vast amount of modern methods to eradicate or even control the Asian tiger mosquito species?
Okay, another great question. The Asian tiger mosquito not only affects the United States, but it also affects Southeast Asia, South America, and Africa. Even though the United States is technologically advanced, they still have not been able to figure out how to control the species because of its remarkable ability to adapt to various environments, its close contact with humans, and its reproductive biology. As I mentioned earlier, the larvae can survive in the tiniest form of water without people even realizing. Public health services have tried many times to perform surveillance and efficient monitoring on this insect to control its spreading, but even with all of that work, they still are not able to reduce the amount of people getting bitten by them much due to the high rates of reproductivity and how extremely hard they are to completely eradicate. Many researchers are very alarmed that this mosquito potentially could become a prime North American vector for a particularly nasty joint and muscle pain illness, for which there is neither a vaccine nor treatment. The chikungunya virus, this insect is a true nuisance biter, and due to its extremely close existence with humans, it creates a huge health risk. These mosquitoes thrive in many of the same places that we carry on about our everyday lives.
All right. So my closing statement would have to be from the given information about the Asian tiger mosquito. I can conclude that the southern house mosquito, has the greatest dangerous impact on human societies, since the species is found throughout the tropics and the southern areas of the United States. This is a mosquito heavily impacts our human society on a global standpoint, and the southern house mosquito can negatively impact several economic branches such as tourism, along with just humans' overall health. The economy would suffer so much loss if tourists weren't coming to heavily infested mosquito locations. That's the economy would lose their money. And also, if these areas had heavy mosquito population, then the mammals and the avian species would also be affected. And in these remote areas, the southern house mosquito can cause great economic loss just due to the fact that they lack technological advances that are found in the United States. But in recent cases, scientists have observed that the southern house mosquito has started to have high frequencies of resistance from local insecticides, which were placed to get rid of these species. And since mosquitoes can become susceptible to these certain chemicals, then this is another reason that my mosquito is more dangerous.
Okay, the Asian tiger mosquito is a very hot topic for research. Past studies have shown that low O2 tension stimulates the hatching of their eggs. Researchers have wondered that if the O2 tension is higher, will the mosquitoes not hatch eggs as quickly? The Asian tiger mosquito is extremely dangerous because it could be carrying a very infectious disease, including Zika or West Nile. One of the main concerns with this type of mosquito is that it breeds and travels very well in small, warm container environments with an uncanny ability to adapt and thrive in shifting temperatures. Due to its incredible adaptability skills, it creates a huge risk for humans. As humans living our daily routines, we provide these mosquitoes with plenty of options to travel in, including flower pots and tires, as mentioned earlier. The Asian tiger mosquito is the most dangerous and harmful mosquito to humans because it is currently impossible to diminish them and has caused many severe illnesses towards people all around the world. Due to the dangers of this mosquito, continued research is vital so that when it brings these diseases to the United States, it can be reduced as much as possible. Therefore, the Asian tiger mosquito is in fact more dangerous to humans. Thank you for listening to our debate.
Bye, guys.